Hello, night lights. My little night lights. I think this will probably be the last time I call you that, because I said night lights as a joke, and people were like, I hate it. So then I was like, well, then I got to keep doing it. I'm like your annoying little brother a little bit. And by little, I mean I'm younger than you. No. Episode 7. Last week I began talking about my football team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who lost. Right after I came out and wore the shirts, they just lose and they're done for the year. I want to say one thing quickly about sports. I think a lot of you guys wonder like where my level-headedness comes from. It's from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I tell this to people all the time, and I think people don't take me serious, but I learned how to deal with depression by being a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. I've been a fan of the Jaguars for probably 25 years or so, and they've been good 4 times. So every single year, I get really excited, and then I get really sad because, like, literally within like a month of the season starting, it's over. And then I'm just miserable for the next several months. That's been a pattern my entire life. One of my phrases that I live by is hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And the reason I have that motto, that mantra, is because my team is so bad, and every year I'm heartbroken. And this year, they did well. This is one of the 4 of the 25 that they were good, and then the playoffs start, and then they're done immediately. So some people say like sports are so stupid, and I so agree. I don't know why I care so much, and it bothers me. I have no control over the team. Nothing I say matters. My rooting interests do not matter. If I gave up on sports forever, everything would be better in my life. But I can't do it. I don't know. This is how toxic relationships are. I get it. First post comes from Jay. Jay says, hi, my ex-girlfriend and I used to argue over Am I the A-hole posts. For fun, but sometimes it got stressful. And this is one of the ones we couldn't agree on. I'm curious to know which one of us you side with. Am I the a-hole for being honest with my girlfriend when she asked me a question about the birthday cake she made me? I, 34 male, had a birthday just yesterday, and my girlfriend, 36 female, offered to bake me a cake. I told her that I would prefer a chocolate cake, devil's food, with chocolate icing and nothing fancy. She's usually a great baker, and I guess she thought that wasn't sophisticated enough or something. She baked me a chocolate cake with vanilla icing between the 2 layers of cake, then surrounded that in chocolate frosting. The cake was fine, but I was disappointed because it was not what I wanted. She must have noticed and asked me if I was disappointed, so I was honest with her. Yes, I was disappointed. It wasn't the cake I asked for. I said, if I wanted vanilla in a cake, I would have asked for vanilla in a cake. Stupid baker. Just kidding. That was me. That was Dylan's input. I didn't make a scene. I didn't pout. I even ate half of a slice, the chocolate part. She got upset with me and said, but I've made vanilla cake before and you liked it. I pointed out that I don't mind vanilla icing, but it's not what I wanted for my birthday. Her feelings were hurt, and she even pulled a, I'm not gonna make any cake for you next year, which I replied with, I will order my own and get my money back if they don't make it the way that I want it. Apparently, that was the last straw. She asked me to leave, later texted me that I embarrassed her in front of her kids, and now she won't reply to my messages. I think birthdays are important things, and I feel like I was honest with her when she asked me. I didn't want to lie about it. My friend told me that I should have been grateful that she made me a cake at all, especially one that I've eaten and liked in the past. Maybe I overreacted a bit, though I don't feel like I did, and hope to get a second opinion. Am I the a-hole here? There is an edit that says, after looking at the comments, I've apologized to my girlfriend for being the partial asshole, but also asked her for an apology as well, because it looked like the results were about 50-50 on whether I was or wasn't. At least when I skimmed them. She hasn't replied yet, but I assume I'll hear from her today. She's probably just thinking about how she can best apologize to me. So, I hate this person. This is a guy I do not like. Wait, what was the, who sent this in? Jay? What was Jay's opinion? Jay said, I think OP is the a-hole, but perhaps both parties could have dealt with the situation a bit better. Ultimately, he was worse IMO because he was petty in only eating the chocolate part just to prove his point. He acknowledged his girlfriend's feelings were hurt, but went on to say that he would return a cake if they didn't make it exactly how he wanted it. If it was such a big deal, he could have dealt with it in a nicer way, while acknowledging his girlfriend had good intentions. Did your girlfriend say, was she of the opinion that OP should have just, it's his birthday, so, you know, he's a king on that day? I don't think I can get on board. You guys know how I feel about special days. It's like, I don't know. Everyone decides, like, they just want to be treated with perfection. And it's just their day to be, like, fully coddled, and anything they say or do, like, can't be held against them any other day of the year, you know? Like, no, it's my birthday. Sorry I was rude to you, but it was my birthday, so you have to give me a pass. It's like, that's not how that really works. There were a couple phrases in here that just, like, started to sour me against this guy. She is usually a great baker. And I guess she thought that wasn't sophisticated enough or something. There's like tension in that sentence. I think he took it as like insulting. Where it's like, just give me the basics. She wanted to go above and beyond to make you something more special for your big special day, you big special boy. Jesus, sorry. She just put a little vanilla icing between the layers of cake. Now, I will say some people are like, I think people can get the impression like, oh, well, it's just a little bit of icing. A little bit of an ingredient can change the outcome of the total. Like if you ever put a banana in a smoothie, it becomes a banana smoothie, you know? It's like you could put like the smallest amount of banana in there and just like a pound of strawberries, and that's a banana smoothie. You're gonna taste that banana. That's what she said. Well, no. So even if I think it was a little passive aggressive for him to just eat the chocolate part and be like, look, see, I ate it. At least what I could before I ate the part that you didn't ruin. She wanted to do something nice for you, and you couldn't be grateful. And this is in front of her children, too. You were a sassy little brat in front of her children. And then he poses it as, I didn't make a scene. I didn't pout. But I needed to be honest. I dislike people who feel the need to be honest. The world would be better if we just lied a little bit more often. I don't know how serious I am about that. Actually, let's not get into that now. We'll get into that when it's more pertinent. I think people use, I'm just being honest as like a get out of jail free card. Like, oh, no. Well, you want me to lie? That's a bad thing, right? To lie, so I didn't do that? So I said the thing that hurt your feelings. And I think also, if he had said this in a nice way, I don't think she would have had this reaction. If he was just like, yeah, I think the vanilla changes it, the vanilla icing. So it's not really quite what I was looking for, but I really appreciate the effort you put into making this cake, babe. I don't think her feelings might have been hurt, but she wouldn't have asked you to leave. I think you were probably being a little arrogant prick. Because she said, I'm not going to make you any cake next year. Because she was pouting, all right? Her reaction probably could have been better, too. It is his birthday, and he asked for a specific type of cake, and the way you made it wasn't quite what he was seeking. Sometimes you get somebody a gift. Oh, it's the worst feeling. Christmases, birthdays. You ever get a gift, and you're like, not what I was looking for, but I appreciate the effort that you went into getting me this gift. You have the receipt though, right? And that's kind of what this is she put this effort in, and he's like, oh, sorry, it's not really what I was wanting. And her feelings are hurt. And then she does the whole, I'm not going to make you any cake next year. And then he goes back the other way by being like, yeah, well, I'm going to order my cake next year so that it's good and right, unlike your cake. And if they don't make it the way I want, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a return. I think the most arrogant part of this whole thing is when he says, I apologized, but I also expect an apology of you. I don't know how I feel about that. Demanding an apology when you are partially in the wrong. When you apologize and then also demand your partner apologize too, that feels weird. Apologies should come from a person seeing the error of their ways. The apology shouldn't come by strong-arming them, you know? But he says, she hasn't replied yet, but I assume I'll hear from her today. She's probably just thinking about how she could best apologize to me. Sure, cope. Seed. Let's go to the comment section. Wow, this had 11,000 upvotes and 11,000 comments. All is well with the balance of the universe. Or whatever Thanos said. Top comment, you're the a-hole. Not necessarily for saying the cake wasn't what you wanted, although I would have kept my mouth shut. I'm going to pause there. I'm okay with saying it. But I think there also should be an acknowledgement that they wanted to do something nice for you. They put time and labor into making you this cake. And it's one of those things, when you become an adult and you're in a relationship, you have to pick your battles. You have to learn when to concede. You have to learn to figure out what's important to you. But if it comes down to like, hey, there's a little icing in my cake that I don't want, it's like, big dog. I think just acknowledging your partner's efforts, even on your special big boy day, I do think that that would have gone a long way into soothing the emotions and also getting better for next time. Where you say, you have the conversation where it's like, hey, I appreciate the effort you put in. I was seeking a very specific cake. And the next time you have an event or a day and she's going to bake you something, make sure it's known, hey, I'm looking for this specifically. But back to the comments, you're not 15 and she's not your mom. Not that anyone should speak to their mom that way either. She's your partner who did something nice for you. If I had a partner who spoke to me like that, I would be out the door immediately. Well, he was out the door immediately because she told him to leave. In front of her children, too. Talking down to your partner in front of her children. Not even your children. Even if it was your children, The way mother and father speak to each other, that has like an immense impact on how children perceive the world with how their parents react to each other. But to have like a step figure and he's talking down to your mom, ooh, that's not going to make me like you. Comment replying to that was, right, it was a gift baked out of love. She could have baked him a dang carrot cake, and I still wouldn't find his behavior excusable. I disagrry. That one has 943 upvotes. I'm going to disagree on that one. If he asked for a chocolate cake, and she's just like, no, I'm going to bake you whatever I want, and because I did that favor for you, I expect you to just sit down and to grin and bear it. It's like, no, you asked for something specifically. If you went out of your way to do something completely different, we might have an issue. Because he's eaten vanilla icing before, and he's been fine with it. So she thought he was going to like this. That's the issue, is she made a modification that she thought he was going to enjoy, and he didn't. And that's tough, but it's a freaking cake. Yeah, it's a slice of cake. Are you going to ruin your entire day and your relationship over a slice of freaking cake? Oh, now I'm thinking about it. In the end, what has been accomplished? You put your foot down that she doesn't bake your goods in the perfect way? Is that where you want to set your pride and ego? That's where you want to put those eggs? Another comment, it was a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting, only she put a thin layer of vanilla frosting inside. Dude, she made you a chocolate cake as asked and had plenty of chocolate frosting as asked, but you got pouty about the inside filling of the thinnest layer being vanilla? Grow up, man. You're the a-hole and don't expect any more baked goods. And the comment replying to that says, I came back to point out that saying, usually she's a great baker in response to getting one thin layer of vanilla frosting makes him an a-hole. He did say that. Usually she's a great baker. So that implies that this time she didn't bake well. The problem wasn't the baking skills. The problem was just the exact specifications of what you were looking for. Another one sarcastically asks, info, how many cakes have you baked for your girlfriend? Which got 3.9 thousand upvotes, which I hate because it's not relevant. If he doesn't bake and that's not his thing, then why are we at? Oh. I get what your point is, but the thing you want to ask is like, what do you do for your girlfriend on her birthday to make her feel special? Do you follow by her exact specifications? Even not on her birthday. How are you as a partner? But I think this whole like, hey, do you do the exact same thing for her? It's like, well, I don't think she's asking for the exact same thing. And also, I don't think he cares practically. I'm going to say this. I don't think he cares that she baked the cake. It's a nice gesture, but if it's a store-bought cake or whether you bake it, a cake is a cake. That's so true. Some people are like, oh, no, you baked it with love and I can taste it. And for me, I'm just like, hey, cake is cake. You know? Whether you bake it with love or hatred, I'm probably going to taste it the same. I do like the idea of some wife out there who bakes her husband's or like cooks her husband's meals, and every day she bakes it with hate, and she's like, ugh, I hope he tastes this hate. And he's just eating his lasagna like, this lasagna is very lasagna-y. He's just like oblivious to it. So yeah, Jay, I'm gonna be on your side. I'm glad you broke up with your girlfriend over this. I hope you turned around on my videos though before you broke up. That's the strategy we use around here. I don't know if you guys know this around these parts. You get in a relationship, you put them onto my videos, then you break up. Repeat that process a couple times. We're gonna really magnify this this viewership ratio here. All right, let's move on to another one. This one comes from Madison, who says, I would be so curious to hear what you have to say because your input on relationships is very insightful, to be honest, and I feel like you would give the healthiest opinion. I feel like you might be setting me up for failure. I do appreciate the pats on the back, but at the same time, I think you also are just like really raising the standard, and I like putting that bar on the floor. Ooh, this one was removed. What was the title? Does it say? Oh, okay, so I don't know what the title is for this one, but the nice thing about Am I the A-hole, that subreddit, it is auto-posted to the comments. So it's in the comments, the entirety of the post, but the title isn't. But regardless of the title, let's get into the story. So I want to start by acknowledging I know I may be in the wrong here, but I really want to hear people's thoughts on this. My boyfriend, 21-year-old male, and I, 21-year-old female, have been dating for several months now, but we've been best friends for many years. I love him very much, but I hold a lot of resentment in my heart for how our relationship started. He confessed that he likes me in January. He knew I didn't reciprocate those feelings, so he didn't expect anything to come out of confessing it. It was more just like a just so you know thing. However, it was the most beautiful confession I have ever received. After that, our friendship continued as normal, but he continued to express how in love he was with me and how I'm the only girl he has ever or will ever love this much. Slowly but surely, I started to catch feelings too, and the tension between us started to grow. In May, I confessed that I liked him back, and slowly afterwards, we started dating. Pause. The confession. I think you can say his was a confession, but you know his feelings. So I feel like I need to look up the word confession. I need the definition quickly of confession. Because I guess it is secret. It was her secret feeling that she came clean about. But there's something blindsidey about a confession. Does that make sense? That's my brain right now. Confession, a formal statement admitting that one is guilty of a crime. Loving him is a crime, probably, depending on how the story goes. It's possible. A confession is a statement made by a person or by a group of people acknowledging some personal facts that the person or the group would ostensibly prefer to keep hidden. This is the most semantic waste of time, but I also feel this is important because you're not trying to keep this hidden. Like, he confessed because he was keeping it a secret, but you just realized it and then said it almost right away. I don't know. there's something here. I'm not going crazy. You're going crazy, okay? Not long after, I discovered that between January and May, he had been flirting with other girls and kept in contact with his exes. We weren't dating, and to my knowledge, he hasn't done anything since, but I can't help but feel incredibly betrayed. I didn't want or expect loyalty, but being told I was the only girl he could love while he was also texting others just doesn't sit right with me. When I confronted him, he said that he was just trying to move on / replace me. Sorry, because I didn't show any interest or signs of loving him back. On one hand, I understand where he's coming from, but on the other, I feel completely betrayed and like I can't trust him. So, am I the a-hole for feeling this way? This got removed. So it didn't get a ton of traction because of that. There are 96 comments. Well, before we get into the comments, maybe I'll give my opinion. As the person who's going to give the healthiest and most rational opinions, I think that anything a 21-year-old guy says about his feelings or about the depth of his love, he does not know the depths of love. It's one of those things where, like, as you age, as you wizen, which is growing wiser, that's the word. I had to break that down for you because I know words, like confession. As you wizen over time, you realize, oh, wait, I didn't realize what I didn't realize. I didn't know what I didn't know. When I was young, I was stupid. And I think when he said, I will not love anybody as much as I love you, I think he meant that in that moment. But I don't think it's true. Just because he meant it doesn't make it a fact. But also, you're 21, so you don't have the wizenry. Okay, I'm getting loose with this. You don't have the wisdom, which is the proper form of the word, to know this, which is why you've come to me through another person posting this. Like, you didn't come to me. You should have. You came to the Am I the A-hole subreddit. I do think, listen, I think girls just want a yearner. That's one thing I've realized. Girls, they want a yearner. They want you to say, I love you, and I will not love anyone nearly as much as you. And as much time as it takes, I want to win your heart. I want to show you how much I care. And they want that love to be endless and boundless. The problem, that works when it comes to stories, because the conclusion is set. The conclusion can be whatever you choose it to be. And that's why romance novels and movies and shows, they feel great because you can conclude it however you choose. But in real life, if he confessed and he had that actual yearning and the depth of his love was that deep, but she never fell for him, and he just spent the next decade chasing her, and he couldn't possibly love anyone else as much as he loves her, and then all of a sudden she's engaged and married to somebody else, now he's an idiot. A lot of the instincts of having a family, having children, the urges and the instincts, they're like, hey man, you gotta find someone. So I can actually understand her frustration, where it's like, you said that you couldn't love anyone but me, but you were willing to try to search that out elsewhere. But also, you can't blame him. So this is a situation where I understand why she's upset, but it also, like, it's one of those things where it's like, he's not at fault. But I understand why you would fault him. I guess one thing that is a little tricky in this spot is, I don't know if it's the feeling of betrayal, but I don't think you can predicate how much you care about him and how much faith you have in the relationship based upon how much he cares about you. I don't think that's a smart thing to do, because she even says it. However, it was the most beautiful confession I have ever received. Well, actually, now that I read that, how many people have confessed to you? We got a hot commodity or something around here, because I don't know how many people get confessions. But either way, she was very moved by the confession, and that probably is part of what won her over, was the urine aspect of this. And then turns out he wasn't urinating as much as he might have led her to believe, because he continued to talk to his ex, or his exes. But if you're not dating, that's his right. He's allowed to do that. He's flirted with other girls since. This is just one of those things where it's like you can get past it or you can't. And you're just going to have to decide. I'm struggling with this one because we don't have proof that he is not being true with his words by saying, I'm never going to love anyone as much as I love you. We don't know that that's not true. He said, what was the other quote? When I confronted him, he said that he was just trying to move on / replace me, because I didn't show any interest or signs of loving him back. We don't have proof that that's not true. So we kind of have to take that at face value. Something about that makes me think, I don't trust this guy. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna confess your love to somebody, like he was just putting it out there too. It wasn't a confession like, do you love me back? It was like, hey, I love you, and I love you more than I'm gonna love anyone else ever. But I just needed you to know that. And then let's just like slow play. Let's figure out how you feel over time. But then in the meantime, you're still talking to other girls, including your exes. I don't know. Something about that does feel a little off. Is it enough to break a relationship? Probably not. I would need more. But that is a brick in this house of breakup. Well, let's see what the other comments had to say. Again, there's not a ton, so you're not going to get like a crazy consensus, I don't think. Top one is, you're the a-hole. You can't hold it against him that he tried to live his life. You have no right to feel betrayed. Comment responding to that says, you're the a-hole. He made his feelings clear and you did not reciprocate. How long was he supposed to sit on the shelf hoping your feelings would change? 6 months? A year? 5 years? No. This is not some Hallmark Christmas movie. He acted reasonably and got on with his life. Yeah, that's just the practicality of it. But at the same time, like, if you're going to go on about the depth of how much you care, then it should feel difficult for you to talk to others so casually. At least that's how I feel. If he was just like, hey, I like you, I just wanted to let you know that, and then went on with his life, that's a different story. But to like be grandiose about how deeply he cares, and then it's so easy for him to just like go and flirt with others. It's like, it's multiple others. That's the problem. It's his exes. Was it ex or exes? Oh, sorry. He kept in contact with his exes. That's the quote. Kept in contact. So he wasn't necessarily flirting. I conflated those because she said that he'd been flirting over that 5-month span with other girls. So there's numerous other girls that he was flirting with, but that could just be talking stage flirtation. That's not a problem. Keeping in contact with the exes, I don't know. A lot of relationships when you're in your late teens, early 20s, a lot of those relationships, like the depth of feeling usually isn't, I don't know how to say this. Like, they're meaningful relationships, but you realize later on, like, you can be friends with those people. Okay, here's another comment. You're the a-hole softly. I get being upset you didn't want anything romantic with him. Was he just supposed to wait around until you did? If what he was saying was true, I understand where her frustration is. I think I align with these commenters more so, where it's like, yeah, there's a practicality element to this. I might feel differently if I saw the confession or heard like what he said, and then also to see some of this flirting that OP has clocked, that she feels disenchanted by. How did she even know, though, that he was flirting with others? Because she didn't know that information between January and May. She only found that information out after she began dating him. So how did she find that out? Did he just come clean about it, or did she go through his phone? She says, not long after I discovered that between January and May, he'd been flirting with other girls. She discovered this information. How did she discover it? It wasn't disclosed to her. Uh-oh, that is tricky. Let me know how you guys feel about that one. That one's a tricky one. Okay, we're moving on to the voice notes. Much like last time, one of the stories got 75 to 85% of the speak pipes. That was the missing iPhone. We'll talk about that later. But another story that got a good number of voice notes was the shampoo story. So, in the story, guy's at the store. He's in a new, I think, 4-month relationship. He sees the shampoo he likes his girlfriend using. So he's out running errands, picks it up, and when he brings it back to the apartment for her, She's like, what is the shampoo for? And he's like, I like that shampoo on you. Maybe use that tonight. Haha, wink, wink. And she's like, okay, this is weird. And you're weird. They have a conversation later on where she tells him, like, hey, over winter break, I talked to my family and everything, and I have a couple things that I don't like. And then she gets into the fact that she doesn't like his living situation. He's got a bunch of roommates. They always go over to her place to hang out. And then also, she thinks that he's weird for liking the smell of her hair, and she thinks that he's over smoochualizing her. No, that's not it. That's not true. She doesn't think he's over smoochualizing her. She thinks that he has a problem with over smoochualization. He's got hypersexuality. She wanted him to see a doctor. She thought maybe he had Tourette's, ADHD, some other ailments that caused this. So let's go ahead and listen to some of your opinions.
Hi Dylan, it's Shika from Portugal, and I wanted to send a message about the guy who buys a shampoo. I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet. It's not that I completely disagree with you. I just feel like you're missing the point. Probably because you're a man. Sorry to say it. Sorry to break it to you. But there is something to be said about the female experience in this world. Meaning, we're sexualized from a really young age. We deal with it daily throughout our lives. So it's really easy to get fed up with it and also to expect it. I feel like we deal with it so much that sometimes we see it everywhere, even when it's not the case. Maybe for the guy, it was not sexual at all. But for her, she felt that feeling again. If they're young especially, it's easy for a woman to feel like she can't really open up about that because she'll be labeled, frigid or whatever. So it's a touchy subject. It's not just, oh, she's crazy. She's reacting this way because you bought her a shampoo and she just wanted a reason to break up. I don't feel like that's it. Maybe she did want a reason to break up, but because of other things, not really, the shampoo.
That was my initial opinion. If you hadn't seen the last video, my opinion was that she was seeking a breakup reason, and this was it. She was at her tipping point, and I think she wanted him to break up with her, and he did just as much. He did just that. Finally found it. There it is. I didn't get the impression, and I don't want to just generalize or not stereotype. What's the word? I don't want to assume things about her personality necessarily. She didn't seem like the type that was gonna pull punches. So if she felt uncomfortable being smoochualized, just based on initial read of how he broadcasts her character, she didn't seem like the type that would struggle having that conversation or be willing or wouldn't want to have that conversation. Either way, there's no way to know, but that was just my initial reading. The thing I believed was when they separated and then they came back the next day, he was like, we need to talk, and she was like, yeah, we needed to talk. And the first thing she says is, one of the issues I have isn't her being over-sexualized. If that was the case, then I think she would have said that. That would be the conversation. But instead it was, I don't like your living situation. I don't like going to your apartment. It's too rowdy. There's too many people there. If she felt over-smoochualized, then I feel like that would be the major point of conversation. Instead of saying that, she said, I think you have Tourette's. I think you have a problem. You should seek help. I don't think she was looking for compromise. I think she that's why I felt like she wanted a breakup, and it kind of felt fairly obvious to me, because if they sit down to talk and he's like, hey, I just want to get us on the same page, and her thing is like, yeah, go find a new living situation. Also, she said, oh, ask your parents for money, which he felt like he can't do. Like, that's not a conversation he can have with his parents where like, hey, just give me money. So she said that, possibly knowing his family situation. They've been dating for a while. Like, he can't just go to his parents and be like, hey, can I have money? If you're bold enough to tell someone to just go ask for money, either you don't know what other people's relationship with money is because you have a very privileged relationship with money, or you're just asking something unreasonable knowing it because you want to cause strife. Does that make sense?
Hello, there's two people here.
Hello.
We are from
a Medea movie.
Yes, sure.
And basically we are going to comment on the topic.
What is this? What is this? Am I listening to a comedy act? That was actually funny. We are from The Medea movie. And then the sigh from the friend. That was funny.
A Medea movie.
Yes, sure.
And basically, we are going to comment on the
The sigh.
The story of OP and he bought his girlfriend
vanilla shampoo.
OP is a sweetie pie.
He is not the a-hole in any situation.
OP's girlfriend
Is oh, there's something wrong with her. Put her in the hospital, bro.
does not deserve him.
Yeah,
Does not deserve OP at all. Like he probably saw the shampoo at the store and it's like, oh hey, my girlfriend uses this.
This brand probably like it or something.
Exactly. Which if she uses it, she probably likes it if she's used it multiple times. Right? He's like, let me do this kind thing, pick it up for her and let her know that I
care about her interests and I'm hearing and seeing her, bro.
But also that he notices that OP sees these little things. Like to me personally, if someone went out their way, bought something that I used and it's a signal that he pays attention and that he cares.
So the girlfriend's definitely the asshole in the story because why is she going into so much
she's definitely taking it too deep.
Way too deep, bro.
Okay, so the one big thing that people were a little bit split on was this a sweet gesture for him to get the shampoo or was this not? I leaned on this is not a sweet gesture because it wasn't him being thoughtful. He didn't get the shampoo because he saw that she was almost out of that shampoo. He got the shampoo because he wanted her to use it because he likes it the best. Which again, fine, but I didn't see it as a romantic or sweet gesture. I saw the shampoo and thought, you're at the store. What do you well, you're going to see a bunch of stuff that reminds you of your partner and the things that they use. If he bought grapes and he's like, oh, well, I know you like grapes. It's like, well, okay. But that's actually better because the grapes are something that she would enjoy rather than the shampoo, which is something that he bought because he would enjoy more than she would. Does that make sense? They would both enjoy it, but he bought it because he would enjoy it on her more. All right. That was it for the voice note section on the shampoo story. That's the short one. I think what I like is if there is one dominant story, we're going to put it at the end and then discuss it. I guess the number two, the small number two, we'll put that one a little bit earlier. That was a quick little discussion, get back to the posts, and then we'll get the big discussion at the end. This third story comes from Isla. I came across this Am I the A-hole post, and I thought it was worth submitting. Am I the a-hole for purchasing my guy friend his dream birthday present and outshining his girlfriend in the process? This is a 3-year-old post, 19,000 upvotes. My guy friend, Tom, has been one of my best friends since college. We're in our mid-20s now and are both currently in committed relationships with long-term partners. I've never had feelings for Tom, nor has he ever had feelings for me. Pause. That you know of. But she would probably know. Since college, Tom has been a huge watch fanatic. 2 months ago, he was showing me this stunning vintage watch and made an offhanded comment about how he would die of joy if he somehow got his hands on one. Very coincidentally, I was in New York City a few weeks ago and stumbled upon this watch store that just so happened to have the exact one Tom wanted. It was expensive, I won't lie, at about $2,500. But I decided to get it for his 25th birthday. That lines up. Huh? $2,500, 25th birthday? When this guy turns 50, he's gonna get the nicest gift. $5,000. But she says, to me, it was basically fate. Probably because of the $2,500, yeah. My boyfriend and I do very well financially, so this was something that I could personally afford and wanted to buy for Tom, especially knowing how happy it'd make him. Tom has a tradition of hosting a dinner party at his place for his birthday, and then following that up with cake and a gift opening. I told him before the dinner that my gift was a huge surprise and asked if he could save it for the last one, and he agreed. His girlfriend ends up going first, and she gets him a gorgeous sweater that she crocheted for him and a book that he's been wanting, which I thought was super thoughtful and lovely. Last, it was my gift. When he opened it and saw what it was, he literally screamed, hopped over a bunch of people, and squeezed me in this huge bear hug. I was so happy to see him happy. It genuinely filled me with so much joy. He even got emotional, and I saw him swipe a few tears. He also said that it was the best gift he ever received. The whole time, his girlfriend was only slightly smiling and stayed quiet. The next morning, I got a text from his girlfriend that essentially said that although she appreciated the thoughtful gifts, she thought that it was a bit out of touch and lacking awareness. She admitted that Tom had also told her about the watch and she wanted to get it for him, but it was way out of her budget. She accused me of knowing this, I had no idea, and still getting it to rub it in her face and to outshine her. She finished by saying how she felt that I had overstepped the boundary by getting the gift and would appreciate me not doing anything similar to it again in the future. I responded and told her that while I could see her POV, I was just trying to do something nice for a close friend of mine. I asked her, wouldn't you rather have that he have gotten the gift and seen the happiness that it brought him than him not getting the gift at all? She responded that the happiness was only shared between me and Tom and no one else, and that she felt hurt by my actions. Only my boyfriend knows about this, and he's on my side. Smart man. But thinking through it again, I do see how I could have overstepped, but my boyfriend says that it's not my job to apologize for her insecurities. So am I the a-hole here? That's fun. That's fun. Allie McRich over here decides to say, hey, guess who got you the best thing here? Oh, a little crochet sweater. How sweet. Did you put your labor into that? Pathetic. I use my money. Which I have a lot of. No, I know I have a skewed perception of birthdays just because it's a day where we all get together and celebrate. Like, yeah, I know it seems ostentatious, but like someone having a dinner party for a birthday and then having like a dinner and then a gift opening session, to me, that's cool. It's like organized. It's someone had a monocle, it feels like, you know. It felt high class. There were champagne flutes for sure. Everyone was in cocktail dresses. No, I don't know, just something about that feels cool to me. Life is as cool as you make it, you know? And I appreciate that. So I think some people would be like, oh my god, they're really overdoing it. But it's an event. You wanted to make it an event. Everyone's into it. And I can understand as the partner, when someone gets you something great and you got them something that's not as great, you feel almost like you let that person down. Like you didn't get them the coolest thing. And it's almost expected of the person closest to, you know, the birthday person to get them the best items. So I understand the feeling of the girlfriend has. OP made the point, would you just rather he have not gotten the gift? He was so happy. So would you rather have your boyfriend less happy without the gift, but your gift looking better in comparison? Or would you rather have him be over the moon with the gifts he's gotten, but you didn't get him the best gift? Which is a valid point, because when you think about it, you want your partner's happiness, or do you want to just come across the best? Which one would you rather have? Because it's not like Tom's going to be like, oh, you couldn't afford to get me a $2,500 watch. I don't think we should be together. It's not going to have him like questioning the relationship. And also, they're in both long-term relationships. They're not worried about like jealousy. I don't think so, at least. I'm on LP's side here. I'm curious to see what the comments say. Actually, let's see what Isla said. Isla, who submitted this, said, I'm not sure who is the a-hole or who that be in this situation, but I think OP should have considered the girlfriend's feelings or at least consulted her before getting Tom the presents. I also think that explicitly asking to go last without telling anyone what she got and then waiting for everyone else to go so her present would shine the most was kind of inconsiderate. Additionally, if the girlfriend was planning to get Tom the watch and it was a matter of cost, she could have talked to OP. They might have worked something out, like giving the gift together or splitting the cost. Love watching your videos, Isla from Orlando. I'm curious about that. You said some interesting things in here. I also think that explicitly asking to go last without telling anyone what she got and then waiting for everyone else to go so her present would shine the most was kind of inconsiderate. You end the show with a climax. If you know you got the best thing and that he was going to be happiest most with your gift, you say that for the end, right? I feel like that's actually the right order of things. You don't start with the best thing because I think everything else pales in comparison. Unless maybe you do start with you should start because then he can have this outsized overreaction to the gift where he's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. But then every gift after, he can like supersize his reaction so that they also feel it's in a similar league of reaction. Because if this guy jumping, running, and shouting, and then being like, this is the best gift of all time, a literal quote he said, this is the best gift I've ever gotten, that is a little bit tasteless to say in front of people who just got you a bunch of gifts. You invited a bunch of people to your place, to a dinner party, they got you gifts, and then you're gonna pick one out and be like, this is the best one ever. It's like, I think maybe Tom could take an etiquette lesson. Maybe the person with the monocle could have brought him over, clanged the champagne flute and said, come on over here, buddy. We're gonna have an aside. But again, my skewed perception of this, you just don't want to double up gifts. If you want someone to get something nice, just get them the nice thing. I wanted you to have something nice because you mean a lot to me, and I wanted to show that through you because I saw this. I know how much you wanted it. You mean a lot to me, so I bought it for you. And that's fine. This whole politicking, Maybe it's just because I hate the politics of it. Where it's like, no, you have to go 50-50. This has to be a gift from the both of us. Even though it's technically only a gift from one of us, we have to, pretend like it's the credit is shared. I don't know. It's your thoughtful thing. I would have probably checked with the girlfriend just to make sure she didn't also get him the watch. But then again, if he said that to you, like, oh, I really would love this watch specifically in a singular moment, rather than like at a group moment, I think that like you can kind of safely assume that, he wasn't going to get that or she wasn't going to get him the watch, because you just don't expect them to have that same conversation that you had privately, where he pointed out the watch. See what the comments have to say. Top comments, 27,000 upvotes, so this is more than the post. Not the a-hole. You weren't thinking of how to hurt her. You just wanted a nice gift for your friend. Your boyfriend is right. You don't need to apologize for her insecurities. Comment replying to that, yes, exactly this. I can empathize with how the girlfriend must have felt, but she was out of line to reach out to OP for what was just a kind gesture. It's also what's in the best interest of her boyfriend. She should just be happy for him that he was able to get something he really wanted, rather than envious she couldn't provide it. That's real love. Ooh, a reply to that comment got 9,000 upvotes, more than the 7,000 it was responding to. It says, I'd say not the a-hole. Both POVs are valid. She was right to make the gift, and girlfriend had valid reasons to be upset, not being in the position financially to make a similar gift, feeling outshined. OP, next time you find something special and expensive, team up with the girlfriend and make a shared gift. That's the way to become a bridesmaid instead of being barred from the wedding. Well, it's a bit much. Yeah, honestly, you should probably play the politics. I lament the politics of it. Like, everyone just is so sensitive. Like, just get somebody nice if they want the nice thing, and then everyone just fall in line. I don't know. Oh, another top comment here, 18,000 upvotes. Giving him something that you knew he really wanted was certainly thoughtful, but telling him to save it for last was attention-seeking. I would feel the same way, even if he didn't have a girlfriend, but especially because he does. I think you were well-intentioned, but should not have made your gift the star of the show in such an obvious way. He would have loved it just as much if you hadn't showcased it like that and blatantly diminished the gifts everyone else, including his girlfriend, had bought. And then with 14,000 upvotes after that, responding, with something that expensive, ostentatious, and important to him, if I were OP, I would have asked to give him his gift privately. That would have been a good idea, the next comment says. And then a comment replying to that, but then OP wouldn't have gotten the attention she's so desperate. Oh, words, don't fail me now. This is crazy. But the OP wouldn't have gotten the attention she so desperately needed. Nailed it, another comment says. Brother. Do we understand? The gifts. Pause. I need to take a second. Do we understand that the gift opening process is we're gonna sit around in a circle and do this publicly? Oh, you wanted attention for how you give a gift. You wanted credit for your gift. Welcome to every person who's ever gotten a gift for anybody. This is the reason it's done publicly, so that we can sit around and see what everyone got everyone else. It's not like, oh, everyone should just do it privately because we're all humble. No, it's a public display for a reason, which is also why I don't fall to her being like, hey, I know my gift is the best, do it last. And she was right. She was correct. This boy hurtled. He was hurdling couches. He probably shoved that watch in people's faces and said, you didn't give me anything this nice, did you? Oh, you got me a book? A stupid book? Some words? Can words ever tell time? Sorry. I'm taking it a little too far, okay? The whole thing is a show, okay? In the same way, in the same vein, I think when I cover reality TV shows, and I talk about them on Ooga Booga, I feel the same way, where people love villains, so people like when people are making villainous choices because it's entertaining, but they love to hate them. But for me, I have that perspective where I can at least take a step back and be like, I love what you're providing to this environment by making bad choices and making choices that might hurt people. But I appreciate that because this whole thing is a big entertainment operation. To a smaller degree, gift giving is that way. Because why don't we open presents privately? It's because we want to see the joy on a person's face after they open a gift. In the same way, people want credit for the things that they got, or the things that they gave. People often say, too, that in giving a gift, people love giving gifts because they love seeing the appreciation that the person receiving it exudes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, it's a nice rewarding back and forth where it's like, I feel fulfilled because I gave you something that you really wanted, and you feel fulfilled because you are fulfilled with the possessions that I've given you. You know what I mean? It's a nice symbiotic relationship, gift giving, yes? And for people to be like, oh, you were just seeking attention. Yes! They're at a dinner party for his super special big boy birthday. I'm trying to make fun of it a little bit, but I said it was cool. But the whole thing was a me day. That's what birthdays are. It's all about me, right? We're celebrating me. You could easily turn around and be like, oh, so you just want the attention. You're such an attention seeker, wanting attention on your birthday. You can make that argument in any way, in a number of spots in this story. But I think that's just the whole structure of how we do things. Am I off base here? I feel like I am so on base. I might take that base home later and make love with it. That's how connected I feel to the base right now. I hope I've explained myself well enough, because I think I'm nailing this. But I think there might be some doubters, and I feel like if there's anything else I can say to win you over, I'm gonna trust that the majority of us are gonna strike down any dissenters. All right? It's like, yeah, it might be attention seeking, but at the same time, the whole thing is it's like the structure of the event to be attention seeking. When people want to celebrate their birthday, they are seeking attention. So, but you're not going to knock people who celebrate birthdays, right? Is it just because everyone does it? We'll read this final comment thread here. You're the a-hole. It isn't so much her insecurities as your breach of etiquette, giving a gift you knew would significantly outshine all others. I'm going to second this right here. A comment responding to that says, assuming OP's intentions were harmless, I don't doubt that they were. It's a total faux pas to give someone else's romantic partner a gift like that. OP, how would you feel if one of your boyfriend's female friends gave him a luxurious gift in front of you and all his friends? The gift doesn't match the relationship. If OP really wanted him to have it, she could have gotten several of their friends, including the girlfriends, to go in together on it so that it wouldn't be a big gift from her. Hindsight is 2020. I disagree with that. I think making generalities like that, it's a faux pas. I can see that, but just being like, hey, every relationship should follow this exact structure of it's a faux pas to give someone else a watch that they like because it's too luxurious of a gift. Oh, and then I guess just to finish up the point about the attention-seeking thing, it might have been slightly attention-seeking, true, but I think the point and me being on base was the whole thing is attention-seeking. It's the reason why you open gifts in public, and then you see the gratitude, there's a conversation, there's a flow happening, and then we all sit in a circle. It's not like you give them the gift and then you go off privately, open it privately, gift giver and gift givee, and then you say your piece and then come back out. It's no, you open the gift, you show it off to everybody, you talk about like, oh, how much you like it, you appreciate that. It's a whole show. The whole thing is a big show. If people have a problem with OP, I can see the angle, and I'm not going to entirely disagree. But I also just think the whole thing is a little bit stupid to get riled up about, considering that the man of honor of the day got something that he was just thrilled about. So he was very happy, and his happiness wasn't as much happiness as you brought him, so you're upset that he was so happy with what someone else got him. That sounds like a you problem. That sounds like, hey, guess your gift came up. Maybe you should have knitted him something better than a stupid sweater. Oh, book, thanks. Now, if Tom at any point was like, had made you feel small for not getting the gifts that he was most happy about, then I think you and Tom have to have a conversation, the girlfriend and Tom, about expectations. And then also there's some etiquette there that I think Tom here, going crazy. It's good to show appreciation, but you also have to play the balancing act, the politics of it, about like, hey, this is the best gift ever in front of everyone else who just gave you a gift. It's like, come on, man. That feels like an obvious one not to say that out loud, but I'm excited to hear your opinions on that one, though. We'll see if that becomes the speak pipe. Move on. I have two more options, and I'm going to take a peek at which one I'd rather do. Oh boy, this might be the speak pipe one. Yeah, we're gonna do this one. This one's gonna get contentious, I feel. Are you ready to strap? Get strapped, all right? Am I the a-hole for snapping when someone rubbed my belly and implied I might be pregnant? So today, my office building was throwing a little fiesta-themed event, and they offered free lunch in the cafeteria. A bunch of us went down to grab food. While I was standing in line, I opened the Nest camera app to check on something and saw a little bird that's been showing up outside every day. I laughed and casually said to no one in particular, this bird comes to visit me every day. Right after I said that, a coworker, who has made pregnancy comments toward me before, came up, rubbed my belly without asking, and said something like, maybe it's because you've got a baby bird on the way. I felt this immediate wave of rage. Like, why are we still doing this in 2025? So I said, don't be wishing that kind of bad luck on me. She looked super taken aback. And my boss, who overheard, also looked at me like I just said something offensive. It felt like I was a crazy one for being upset. But I didn't ask to be touched. I'm not pregnant. and I really don't like people making those kind of comments about my body. Now I'm wondering, am I the a-hole for reacting the way that I did? Edits, I am not overweight, which only makes it weirder because I do not look pregnant. There's also a couple rays of sunshine trying to make me feel bad about my weight. Maybe I need to be more specific. My coworker did not do this out of my looks. That's why I'm concerned, because though, yes, I'm not the fittest person, I know I don't look pregnant. All right. Whew. I think I'm going to have the controversial opinion here. We'll see. I haven't looked at the comments, but they were deemed not the a-hole. Where I read this, first of all, in the big 2025, I hate when people reference the year. Are we still doing this in this year? For some reason, I hate that. I'm not going to let it influence the story at all, but when people say that, it just bothers me. Are we still doing this in 2025? Shut up. No, you shouldn't. This seems pretty obvious. Don't make pregnancy-related comments to other people. Also, the rubbing a belly. Like, what gives you the right? Why would you physically rub someone's belly? It's different sometimes when someone's like around you a lot, coworkers, like you might incidentally touch as you're like going by or going around each other. Obviously within a level of appropriate nature. I know that's a big discourse of like guys sometimes when they're moving around women, they'll put the hands on the woman's lower back, which is inappropriate. And I would agree. But sometimes there's a level of physical contact that is allowable. But going up to somebody rubbing their belly, I'm not Buddha. Don't do that to me. I don't want you touching me. If a guy came up and rubbed my belly, I'd be like, okay, we're not doing that anymore ever again. They are wrong to do that. There were a couple points in here where I was like, something feels weird. One of them is I opened the Nest Camera app to check on something and saw a little bird that's been showing up outside every day. I laughed and casually said to no one in particular, the bird comes to visit me every day. So you're standing in a line, looking at something on your phone, and saying, this bird comes to visit me. That feels like something you aim at a person to show them, like, hey, look at this bird. Why are you talking to nobody? like you were, maybe was that conversation bait? Were you trying to get people to be like, hey, what bird? And then show them? That's just like a weird social move. Am I wrong? This bird comes to visit me every day. And then you just move on. Like, what are you talking about? That's either conversation bait or you show them the video. Be like, oh, look at this cute little bird that comes visit me. Right? And then people are like, oh, cool. Listen, I've been on TikTok recently. Kind of more, that's not underrated. I don't want to say underrated, but I've underrated TikTok. TikTok comment sections are hilarious. But I've seen this bird theory thing, and I know I'd fail bird theory. The whole bird theory, people ask their partner or say to their partner, I saw a bird today. And then based on their reaction, like to how they respond to that statement, it like tells about their relationship. I think that the whole thing is stupid. Probably because I'd fail bird theory. I'd be like, okay, what's the significance of the bird? Oh, nothing, I just saw it. That's the most boring. You saw a bird? Okay, cool. And now here's a person in the coworker line by being like, hey, there's a bird on my video outside my house right now. It's like, yeah, your house exterior is outside. There are birds all over usually. But then also, I think the biggest thing, all right, I've sidetracked. I've talked about bird theory. The big thing that like OP's not understanding, which it feels kind of obvious, and this isn't something I know, but it feels like it's something I can intuit based on the story, is if a bird is coming to visit you, that is the reason to believe that you might be pregnant. That just feels like some old folklore-y type stuff, where it's like, okay, well, a bird coming to visit and building a nest near you or something. I don't know. It feels like just some like ancient knowledge that's passed down. And it feels like very anecdotal, whatever, but it could be just a sign that some people believe that it means you're about to be pregnant. So for her to be like, it has nothing to do with my weight. So I have no idea why she would make that comment. Maybe she made that comment because of the comment you made. To nobody. This also puts OP in a bad light. I felt this immediate wave of rage. Like, why are we still doing this in 2025? So I said, don't be wishing that kind of bad luck on me. That you being pregnant. I think most people, if they have a level head, they're okay with people's choices. If people want to have kids or don't want to have kids, that's fine. But as soon as you start, I guess, slanting having kids or not having kids in like a really negative light, other people are going to look at you weird, especially having kids. Like, you're the product of people having kids. All human life is the product of people having children. It's like, it's built into our DNA to want to procreate. Same with every other species. So for you to be like, don't be wishing that bad luck on me, that makes anyone who's ever been a parent or has a parent, which is everybody, that makes the people go, ugh, why are you framing parenting or parenthood in a bad light? You are going to be weird for that. And again, it's okay if you don't want to have children, but as soon as you make a comment by being like, ugh, children are freaking stupid and gross, I would hate my life if I had a child. People are going to be like, okay, well, that's a bit distasteful to say. Your coworker set off this chain of distastefulness by touching you and talking about pregnancy with someone who's not pregnant. Pregnancy can be a sensitive subject. So let's not touch that. The subject or your body. Yeah, so the coworker, a-hole for doing that. But I'm getting a vibe from you that I want you to vibe away from somewhere far away from me. I don't know. Sometimes I get a vibe check from people, and I just like, ugh. I don't know. You sound like a very judgmental person, maybe a little bit spiteful. Like, I don't think you just made this comment specifically because your coworker touched you. If your coworker touched you and you didn't like it, your comment would be, please don't touch me. That's inappropriate. Something to that effect. Not, parenthood is stupid. That just feels weird. So yeah, when people look at you weird, it's because you're being weird. So I don't think, maybe you're the a-hole. I don't know. Something about that rubbed me the wrong way. But again, I want to make it clear, like the person who touched you, don't do that. That's wrong. And you set the chain of events off. Well, maybe you, OP, set the chain of events off by talking to no one. But I think just that, and then OP also not even potentially grasping that the bird specific thing is like that's the reason why she made the comment. And I don't think it was a comment like, ooh, I think you're pregnant. You look pregnant. I think it was specifically like, because it's a nice thing. A lot of people like the idea of getting pregnant. Like I said, it is the reason the earth is populated with human life. So throughout most of human history, being pregnant was seen as a positive thing. So just because it's negatively framed for you, I don't know if your coworker knows that. Maybe the coworker is just a true, like, pure-hearted, or not pure-hearted, like pure through the heart asshole. Where they're like, I know you don't like it. That's why I'm going to make that comment. Maybe. Because she said, a coworker who has made pregnancy comments toward me before. I'm very curious about those comments. In fact, can I go to the account? Let's see if there's any follow-up. Oh, here's more context. I think the situation with her is that she's an older woman, probably in her 40s, who had a child later in life. Maybe she struggled with the decision, or maybe she hadn't found the right person before. But either way, she became a mother in her early 40s. I get the feeling she assumes I'm on the same path just because that's how things unfolded for her. Thing is, we are not the same. I've known since a very young age that I don't want children, and I've expressed this to her many, many times. But every time she acts like I'm just talking nonsense and that I'll eventually change my mind. Almost like, come back when you're ready, except I'm not coming back. My mind is made up. I don't want kids, and that's not going to change. Now, I will say, pause. That is annoying. A lot of people do change their minds as they mature. Your certain DNA kicks in, and you're like, oh, I think I need to have a baby now. But a lot of people don't change their minds, and it's frustrating to be like, you'll change your mind one day, and if you never change your mind, it's like, well, it's fine if I don't change my mind. So this is OP responding to a comment. The original comment was not the a-hole. Why is she so obsessed with the idea of you being pregnant? Pause. I don't know if she's obsessed. Unless there's a comment that implies obsession. I want to see what the other comments are. Because I know some people can be overbearing with it. But I think that comes from, like, excitement, but they still need to temper it. Just because you're excited about pregnancy and motherhood, and that's a huge fulfilling part of your life, doesn't mean I want to talk about it all the time, you know? So you gotta figure out, just, like, read social cues, who wants to have those conversations, who doesn't. And it doesn't seem like this coworker is doing that. But anyways, why she's so obsessed? She needs therapy. Start recording every encounter with this crazy ass and bring it to HR. OP responds, I am starting to think that she is in fact obsessed with me being pregnant, okay? She is always making comments about me getting pregnant, even though I have told her I am not interested in that, nor is my husband. He even got a vasectomy because we don't want kids. She got pregnant old, so she thinks I'm going to change my mind. Most of the time, she's a very sweet lady, but this one thing is driving me crazy. And even though we are in Texas, she is from Latin America, and I know it's a cultural thing too. So I guess when it comes down to it, I don't think the coworker was trying to be malicious about it. I think it's just motherhood is something that might be exciting for her, and she wants to share that with you if you were possibly pregnant, right? And I think the bird thing, I think that maybe I'm reading too much into that, but that just feels like, oh, that could be a sign that you're pregnant. It's like an old cultural thing. But I would need to see more evidence or more quotes from how what the coworker is saying about pregnancy. Because I feel like they're talking about it a lot, and she says she's always making comments about me getting pregnant. Yeah, that would start to make me uncomfortable after a couple, and especially after I expressed Well, not me. I'm not getting pregnant. The emoji of the guy pregnant. But if someone continued to make comments that I was like, hey, no, I'm very clearly not interested in that, I would expect you to pick up on it. And if you don't, I'm going to want to avoid the subject. And if you keep bringing it up, it's going to just annoy me. All right, so that was all the context we got. I think after reading that, it's one of those things where it just builds up over time, where there's more and more comments, and you've tried to softly diffuse it, be like, nope, not having kids, not interested. You might even drop the husband had a vasectomy. It's not even possible unless he snips back. Snip, snap, snip, snap. But just repeatedly getting the comments about it, and it's like, okay, well, now you're touching me. Now you've crossed the line, and it's bothering me. But I think at that point, perfect response would be like, hey, please don't touch me. Rather than, don't be wishing that kind of bad luck on me. Because, yeah, now you're trying to insult motherhood, which a lot of people find great fulfillment in. Your response is going to turn people against you. You're not wrong to respond. I'm coming around more to OP, which, now reading the comments, which upsets me a little bit, because I would love to have a nice little controversial post. Maybe you are more on the coworker side. I don't think you guys would be. We'll see, though. Maybe. All right. Finally, we get to the great mystery from the last episode. The story. We're going to do this, the final voice notes. So, last week we had a story. Very odd thing. It was like a murder mystery almost, without the murder. So just mystery. There might have been murder. We don't have the follow-up. OP hasn't posted since, so skeptical. A little bit freaky. We'll see. But in this story, there is a missing iPhone. So the mother and father get their son an iPhone. Now this son has a traumatic brain injury from his childhood, and he has short-term memory loss and often misplaces things. So one day he's like, my phone's missing, but I know that where I left it for a fact. Like, I know someone must be messing with me. And they're thinking, poor little brain-injured child. No, your brain is not working properly. Sorry. And the phone's missing, and it's missing for years. The wife wins an iPad at work, like in a raffle or something, and gives it to her son, because the son is the only one that doesn't have a device of his own, and he's 8 years old now. And very quickly, that goes missing. Then a funny thing happens. The wife finds the iPhone. Or rather, no, she first finds the iPad. Where is it? It's in her husband's t-shirt drawer at the bottom of the drawer. Suspicious. Odd. Now, just a little extra information, this isn't the father, this is the stepfather of the child. He's got some children of his own. Sometime after that, she also finds the iPhone in the back of his car. The back of his car is a mess. It's just got like a bunch of like gym equipment, not gym, like gym clothes, duffel bag, whatever, water bottles, return packages. It's just like a mess back there. And back there is the phone. Now the phone is dead. The iPad, it didn't look like it was ever used since. In fact, do I have that post? I'm going to quickly look. So just for the record, just so we have the timeline correct, it was 1.5 years that he got the iPhone, and within 3 months it was lost. And then 1 year later, she wins the iPad, and in a month, it's gone again, lost. 3 months after he loses the iPad, that's when she finds it at the bottom of the t-shirt drawer, which was a big mess. And then that brings her to tonight. So 3 months later, she finds the iPhone as well. I wanted to get that timeline because just like when she found the items, it wasn't like in succession, but she talked to the husband as well, and he was like, oh, I don't know how that got there. That wasn't me.
Hi, Dylan. Candace from Michigan here. I think we're missing the most glaringly obvious answer here, and that is the dad took them to communicate with his alleged mistress. And yeah, I know the mom said that she found like no evidence that anybody else used them, but I think the dad must have deleted it or like did like secret apps or something. But yeah, I think he took them, communicated with his affair partner, and then just kept him. And then now it's coming out and he's trying to cover his tracks. But anyway, love your videos.
Thanks, Candace. I'm going to immediately pour cold water over this because this was one of the most common theories that you guys threw at me. And I get it. The pieces are there. This is the reason I hate doing puzzles. Because so often when I'm doing a puzzle, I'll find two pieces that match and look like they're about to fit into each other. And then I put the pieces together and they don't fit. It's just off by like a small amount. But my brain for some reason tells me like, just keep mashing them together. Eventually it'll fit. And that's not how puzzles work. I think you guys are doing that with the cheating. So this is something we don't even know about an affair. The wife, on another thread, someone had posted just like a question, what keeps you up at night? And she responded, I think my husband's cheating on me, but I can't prove it. And that's all she said. And people are now connecting like, oh, so there's missing phone, missing iPad, and now we have a potential affair, and people are connecting those. But I don't think that's the case. If you're talking about this guy whose master plan, brilliant hiding spot was the bottom of a t-shirt drawer and the back of his car in the trunk with a bunch of junk, you're telling me that guy, he's going to be super secretive now, and he's going to have like super secret dating apps, and he's going to download software that like hides his messages? Because she got the phone back, she got the devices back, and she said the husband didn't know the passcodes. So somehow he got into them, sent a bunch of messages, deleted them all out, or used different apps to like secretly communicate. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't fit the character profile. Because, like, why would you steal your child's phone to do that? Like, get a burner phone. If you need another device to cheat, you don't steal it from your child. You would just get a different phone. You just go get another phone line and then use that phone to cheat. It's not that expensive. And it also doesn't make sense to steal the phone and then later to steal the iPad as well. Did your affair partner send you explicit photos and you're like, this is too small on my phone. If only I had an iPad. Wait a second. There's an iPad in this house. I'm going to steal it again. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit. The pieces don't fit, but that was a theory I heard time and time again in the voice notes. I don't believe it. So I wanted to cross that off the list right away.
Hey Dylan, this is Luisa. I'm from Brazil. I hope you did a little nod or dorky gesture or whatever you usually do whenever people tell you where they're from. This is about this stepdad with the iPhone/iPad story. I agree with you. I don't think the stepdad did it. The mom was trying to explain that there was, almost no possibility of any abuse happening. And I agree, there is no motive. There is no anything. My theory is that the child is actually behind this, because if you notice one of the comments, she said that she was just in maternity leave. So she just had a baby. That's something that happens. Like the older children will try to do things to steal attention. So for instance, when I was 2 and my sister was born, I started stuttering, even though I never stuttered before. And my mom took me to the pediatrician and she was like, yeah, she's just trying to draw attention to herself. And my sister did the same thing when our younger cousin was born. So children do this. They do something to like draw attention to themselves. He probably was like, hey, remember me? I still have the brain injury. I still need attention and care. And so he's hiding it and kind of, quote, blaming it on the stepdad.
So the child, we have a vote for the child's criminal mastermind. The reason I struggle believing that theory is because the child would have to give up his device. Have you ever tried to take an iPad or an iPhone away from an iPad baby? They fight you. They bite, they tear, they rip, they cry, scream. This child gave up a phone for years just to like frame his father. That's a long play. If that's true, you have a true psychopath child. Because the reward ratio here is not high enough. If that kid is engaging in that ratio, then you have a little psychopath child. So it's hard for me to believe that one. But I can understand the need for attention. I do think that if he were to lose the phone, like in his little 6-year to 8-year-old brain would be like, he would try to lead the parents to finding it. If he did what he's trying to frame the dad, he would try to lead his mom in a way to the drawer where he hid it to try to frame the father. Like, children aren't sly about this. They think they're sly, but it's pretty obvious to see through their schemes. So I think he would try, so that way he gets his device back and he does the successful framing in his little 6-year brain.
Hey Dylan, I have a little bit of like a odd, like different angle take, and it's that we don't really explore the possibility of the other siblings might like being involved. And the only reason why I'm even like considering a theory like this is because all angles are just feel kind of off, and there's just like so much weirdness around the story. And I feel like the only way that this would make sense is if it's not the stepdad, because although the stepdad does treat the kids differently, it's probably not that, and it's also not the mom or the kid. And there was a mention of the stepdad does have other kids, so there might be a level of jealousy there, even though the OP does say that her husband treats his kids better, but that's always just like her perspective specifically. So the other kids may feel differently, and they may feel jealous that their dad bought OP's child an iPhone. They might feel jealous that OP's child got an iPad. And in doing this, they might decide that they want to frame their dad. I'm not quite sure why they would frame their dad.
Little parent trap situation. Try to frame one of the parents to get some distrust in the relationship. If I were to start taking a stab at this, I would say probably one of the other children, because it doesn't make sense for the stepdad, to buy the child an iPhone for Christmas and then hide it from him. There's no clear motive there. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for the mom to do it either. That would be an interesting twist, though, if it was the mom just wanted a fun story to post on Reddit and gaslighting herself into believing that she didn't do it. The child losing a device also doesn't make a ton of sense. So one of the other children feels like one of the primary suspects. Final one from Lula.
Hi Dylan. As requested, I am sharing my opinion on the husband who's hiding devices from his 8-year-old son. While I don't really have a solution or a conspiracy as to why he might be doing it, I think the story is very layered and you get a lot of intel on the characters, and I want to share them. Maybe it helps you figure it out. So basically, I looked up posts from OP, other posts that she posted. And what I can say about her is I think that she might be very insecure. It feels like she needs external opinions to make decisions in her own life. This is no different in that story. I mean, she finds the iPad first and then she doesn't talk to her husband about it. Then she finds the phone, and I'm assuming this didn't happen back to back. So she did have time in between to confront him, and she didn't. She finds the phone. She still doesn't confront him. I guess there's time until you go to bed. And then in bed, she starts to think about it. And I feel like if it's robbing you of sleep, as some people like to say. No, but if it's like you can't fall asleep because of it, I guess you could just wake him up.
Was that robbing of sleep? Was that a reference to one of the other stories? The sick husband? Or what was it? And the husband was robbing her of sleep. That's funny.
Wake him up and ask him about if it's that serious. And she doesn't do that either, and it feels like she's afraid to confront him, or like she's trying to please him. And as for him, man, if you're grown, why is your trunk full of random procrastinated tasks? Why are you carrying that with you all the time? I feel like that's not, I don't know, that tells me something about him. And I guess also the place where the iPad was hidden, I think that was also not very tidied. I don't know. I feel like the whole family dynamic is just weird enough for you to ask yourself what, but not weird enough for you to like have serious red flags about it.
I think that's actually a good point. Like this story just, it has that little off factor. And again, it's not enough to be like, ooh, someone should step in. That's what makes it a little alarming, though, is where it's like, ooh, everything just feels a little unaligned. And I don't know, you just get uncomfortable. The husband doesn't have any animosity towards the kid, the kid with the brain injury. In fact, the husband told the wife, like, I think you're not giving your son enough credits. He's super proud of the kid. He's like super athletic and cool and whatever. So he's spoken up in favor of the kid. And I don't think he's got like any animosity towards him. But then also, she did confront the husband when she found the iPad in his t-shirt drawer. But then when she finds the phone in his trunk, she types a story up, doesn't confront him that night, and she's being robbed of sleep as she's sitting there thinking about this, and she's typing up like her thoughts. And if it's like, yeah, if this is something that's on your mind, then address it, wake your husband up and talk about it. Or like the next time, she updated like the next morning, her husband got up in the morning to go out and go to the gym. Then she was like, okay, I'm updating as he's away. And it's like, why don't you just wait until he gets back, have the conversation with him, and then update us? I think when I originally read this story, I was like, why are you updating us now? I was like, I wanted the update after you spoke with your husband, because I think having that conversation, there's going to be something in there that he might tell you that gives you clarity, or he comes clean and tells you, or he denies it, but he's shifty or weird or trying to divert the subject. There's more information to be gathered. And the fact that that was her final post was, my husband went out to the gym. I didn't get a chance to confront him, but here's some extra, periphery information. Periphery information. And then she never resolved it. Like, what do we do? Come tell us. It was a year ago. I'm going to check to see if she's updated since. I don't think she has. Oh, wait, what? 9 days ago. Oh, she's just commenting on other subreddits. What the hell? On r/ask Reddit, very physically attractive people, how does life treat you? That was just, someone posted that. And then she responded, there's good and bad, of course. For the pros, and then she goes on, So she's basically been like, yeah, I'm very attractive. Interesting. I don't know. That's just interesting. She's just like self-selected. I guess some Redditor asked like, hey, to the very physically attractive people. And she's like, oh, I have expertise here. Oh, what? r/confession? Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know what this is. My husband is an AP manager for Target and has been for years. Like many people have said here already, they build cases on people over time until they finally reach prosecutable thresholds. This is better for their numbers, allows them to involve PD, lead to charges, and ultimately trespass you from their stores. I think she was just responding to someone shoplifted, and she started talking about her husband. I thought there might be more in there. They're still married. She just recently came back. 2 weeks ago, she came back. She's still married to him, so I guess that's information. Oh, man. Yikes, right? If I was a wagering man, I'd say that one of the other children wanted to play a prank because it doesn't make sense for the father. It doesn't make sense for the mother. It doesn't make sense for the child to lose the device for a long period of time. I do think that maybe the mom should have put like an air tag like on the device, like in the get a cover for it and then put it inside the cover, slip it inside. That's probably what I would do, because this would eat me up. If I didn't know if my partner might be secretly sabotaging my child and trying to convince them that they are like irresponsible, that would bug the hell out of me. So I would air tag it or get some sort of like location tracking. I know like the devices have like some of that, but if the device is powered off or has no battery, like if that goes out, it's no help. So I would get the child one more device, and then I would track that shit secretly, not telling my husband, and then I'd find out. That's what I would do. I need to investigate, because that would eat me up inside. If my child who has a brain injury swears that they didn't lose it, but then I found both items in my husband's possession, and he swears he didn't take it, then I don't know what to believe, you know? And then it could be also one of the other kids. Oh, if that OP ever like gives a follow-up story, email me. Let me know. Tell me, because I need to follow up on that. Everything is just like the perfect amount of off to get me intrigued. And I just want to know more. There's so much juice to this, and we're not getting any more. Anyways, that's it. That's all for this episode. Next episode is the final episode of season 1. And because it's the final one, it'll be the final Speak Pipe section. So all your Speak Pipes this time will be your last time for the season. Let me know your opinion. Let me know any posts that you come across that you feel strongly about or want an opinion on, or you think that might be interesting to cover in this series, and I'll cover it maybe next time. Thank you for watching Nightlights. Not calling you that again. All right, I'll see you next time.